casting shadows, the sun was pushing through. Spoke a lot of words, I don't know if I spoke the truth. Got so much to lose, got so much to prove. God, don't let me lose my mind. Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble almost all my life. My sweet love, won't you pull me through? Everywhere I look, I catch a glimpse of you. I said it was love, and I did it for love, I did it for you. Will it come to pass, or will I pass the test? You know what they say, yeah, the wicked get no rest. You can have my heart, any place, anytime. Got so much to lose, got so much to prove. God, don't let me lose my mind. Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble almost all my life. My sweet love, won't you pull me through? Everywhere I look, I catch a glimpse of you. I said it was love, and I did it for love, I did it for you. Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble almost all my life. My sweet love, won't you pull me through? Everywhere I look, I catch a glimpse of you. I said it was love, and I did it for love, I did it for you. Got so much to lose, got so much to prove. God, don't let me lose my mind.
Welcome. We are back. Lindsay Glenn, Zeke, Old Miner, Dave, Maxime in the chat. Lindsay Glenn is eating lunch right now. That's how early this stream is. Shout out to everybody on the West Coast. And yeah, CPI numbers tomorrow. Another good day for the market. Hate to pat myself on the back, but I've been watching the streams. It's like step by step. Pretty much all the technicals have been playing out lately. But going into tomorrow, we're going to have to put the technicals aside for a little bit. See how those CPI numbers look like and see how the market reacts to those numbers. I have no predictions going into tomorrow, very open-minded, and I will give an update once we see how the market reacts to the news. Until then, we're just kind of at the mercy of those numbers, and yeah, it's not really my job to try and predict what it's going to be, or if it's good this, if it's bad this. Like, I'll just see what it is and then I'll take it from there. So I'm not going to be spending a lot of time giving updates on the overall market tonight. I'm just waiting for that. Pretty much I'm going to be mainly looking at individual charts on stocks. We got a lot of names doing very well. And just for the sake of the stream, we are going to imagine that CPI is not tomorrow, but of course it is. And in reality, that can affect pretty much everything I talk about tonight. But so I don't have to keep saying that every single time you look at a chart. Oh, but CPI can override this. Like, just know that ahead of time. And yeah. Dustin is saying lots of risk to the downside after this run up in the SPY. There always is risk. So it's just about managing that risk. All right, but let's get started. Crypto is doing pretty decent as well. Bitcoin is testing a very, very big level. Right now, you are testing your lows from June of last year as a resistance. This is honestly probably the hardest part of this news swing that I drew out and alerted last night on the stream. literally where we are right now is probably the hardest part, the beginning of the swing, because this is a very big level. And even if you break just above this level, you still have this supply line right over here waiting for you. So this little area is the tough area. You're pretty much right at it. Hopefully after making a higher low and holding that 15K level for months now, it is able to break above this. And if it cannot, hopefully it just makes another higher low and then retests and eventually does. That's really all I'm hoping for. The RSI is not overbought yet. It's kind of looking a little bit bullish, actually curling up very quickly into this move. The strength is coming in. I would like to see a little bit more volume, but that can come at any moment. And the same thing for Ethereum. It's a critical area right now. And of course, CPI can affect both of these as well tomorrow morning. You've seen that in the past. But yeah, Ethereum is also testing a supply line right now. And then just above that, you've got the 200-day moving average. So the hardest parts of the new crypto swings is literally the next 2 to 3 days and how we react to this area. If you can clear it, there's really not much resistance until the targets. They're not super aggressive first targets either. And you've seen months of consolidation leading up into this. So that's really what's going on. Looking at some other crypto related assets in the stock market, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, or GBTC, pretty much had a flat day today, but it's still holding up after the very good day on Monday, up 12%. Another one that is very close to a supply line. So you can see the overall picture being painted in crypto right now is a breakout test. And then the crypto mining names Mara and Riot did pull back today. They might be looking to back test these levels I've been talking about. On Mara, it is $5.30. That was pretty much your low of the day today. Let's see if it holds for the next couple of days. And then for Riot, you didn't really back test it. That's lower around 463. But you have a little bit of a high right over here. From this high on December 5th, that was pretty close to your low of the day today. So maybe it's going to be using that level in the short term as a support. Moving into other markets, very close to a bearish engulfing candle for the US 10-year today. You've got hidden bearish divergence. This actually might be a bearish engulfing candle. No, it's very close to one. Pretty much one, though. It's like it just had to close like a little bit lower. But overall, it's about 3.5%. Do you bounce off the level or do you break under it? Now, crude oil with a bullish engulfing candle today, it is actually trying to break back above this low from September. So yet another chart entering a breakout test. This is kind of what's going on across the board. The same thing is very close to happening in the stock market as well, with the SPY entering right next to this 200-day moving average and this longer term supply line. So kind of across the board, different markets, different assets, we are testing a breakout like almost everywhere, which is kind of crazy. At the same time, around CPI, I forgot who put in the Discord chat today, but it might have been Gold Miner. It's like we always get these like huge tests right around news, and then it's pretty much the news which is going to decide whether or not we break out or not. Which is not always bad. Maybe it could help if we get a good reaction tomorrow, but maybe that's just wishful thinking. We will see. But yeah, just going back really quickly, we were talking about the crude oil. It kind of has a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders look to it over here. We'll see. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is your big test area. Moving into metals, gold, doji candle today, still testing resistance. Silver starting to roll over a little bit after breaking down from that rising wedge. And then the dollar currency index, pretty much a flat day. It seems like a lot of these markets are just waiting for that CPI data to come out. The Hang Seng Index was able to continue a little bit higher in the morning session, but it pulled back throughout the day. Still a higher close, up about 0.5%. Nothing really much has changed there. And then moving into the indices, green day across the board. If you watch Monday night stream, this was the exact move I was hoping for, and that's the move we've been seeing. That move was pretty much flipping this resistance from the 2-3 week consolidation range into a support, and you did just that. And I did say towards the end of that segment on the stream that the big thing is once you break out, you backtest, you want to break above your initial breakout high. So you have your initial breakout over here, you put in a high, then you backtest, right? That is your break, that is your hook, and then your go, you should be able to go above your initial breakout high. And that is a move you saw today. I actually alerted calls in premium right over here because I did feel like the price action was looking good heading into that test. You're able to break above it. The calls ran like 140% on the same day. There were 0 day till expirations. It's the first time I've alerted those in some time, I believe. But yeah, so far so good. We've done that successfully for right now. Heading into tomorrow, we're kind of back in this zone, which used to be support in the beginning of December. You've got a gap fill just above you around 398 or just under 398. Those are kind of the next levels to keep an eye on. If you cannot hold that, we get a bad reaction tomorrow, then 390.6 is pretty much your gap fill on the 1 hour chart. So this is really where you're at. Those are your levels on both sides. Overall, this still looks fine to me. It's kind of like a little bit of a cup and handle here, even though it's a pretty unclear neckline. But if we're just using this zone as the neckline, this whole entire zone, let's just call this a neckline, because it is an important zone that's pretty much at the end of this rounding bottom as well, and you have your handle over here, you're pretty much also testing a little bit of a cup and handle breakout test. Because although we were in a choppy zone for weeks, just at least based on the lows, you did get that rounding bottom where you were making lower lows at first and then you started flipping to higher lows. So the psychology of it is very similar to a cup and handle. Typically for a cup and handle to be like more textbook, you'd want something like this. That would be like a much more textbook cup and handle. And maybe that is also still possible, but it's just not something we can talk about for right now. And of course, assuming we get a good reaction, if those things do play out, then you will be testing a bunch of resistance right around 400 on the SPY, 200-day moving average, trend line. Hopefully we get a little bit more volume, but apart from that, not too bad. The Qs were up 2% today. We are finally starting to get away from this zone. And again, this zone is everything for the QQQ and a lot of large cap tech stocks, because that would be the neckline of a bearish inverted cup and handle. But again, when it comes to structural patterns, cup and handles, head and shoulders, stuff like that, they're technically not even real patterns unless you break down or break out. So as long as you never break under 255 on the Qs, it's like, yeah, you have that massive potential inverted cup and handle, but it doesn't mean anything unless you fall under that level. So as long as we stay above it, things are still okay. And again, you've been seeing this across the board in a lot of large caps, like about like a 2-month or so harmonic development for a lot of these different names, and it looks like we are getting reactions at the pattern completion zones on a lot of these names. And a great example of that was one that I recently alerted a week or two ago, Amazon. It had this bullish butterfly. I alerted it right at the pattern completion zone. On a lot of my swings recently, I've been alerting one reward to risk as the first target. All right, if we go over to the crypto swings, you can see one reward to risk. Ethereum, one reward to risk, which means it's pretty much the same difficulty of going to the stop in the first target. It's a little bit of an easier trade, but the potential return is less, right? If we look at something like even the Fisker swing, which has been around for a while, the first reward to risk box is a one reward to risk. It's the same difficulty of either going to the stop or the target. It's about the same percentage in both directions. For the Amazon swing I recently alerted, the first target was a 3 reward to risk. Percent-wise, it was about 3 times harder for the target to hit than the stop loss to hit. And the target hit first. And that was, again, I was just talking about this on the Qs, that shorter term harmonic also developed on a name like Amazon. You hit the pattern completion zone once, you almost hit the stop of the swing, you went down to retest the pattern completion zone right around that 1.27 butterfly PCC, you retested it, you bounced there, and then boom, right off the second low, right up to the first target. That is as like picture perfect as it gets. That's exactly what you want to see. We haven't seen swings act like this in a long time, so hopefully the rest of them that haven't hit targets yet can continue to do so. But when we're getting a market like this, you all know this is what I love. There's a lot of people who crushed it last year day trading, who don't even really care about swings. Now maybe some of those day traders are having a harder time because they're not getting like the same ranges that they're used to. When we get movement in the market like this is when it comes back to my home field. I got my home field advantage right now compared to a lot of other traders. This is the environment that I love. Of course, it's not too hard to find a stock going up right now in the past few days, but being able to set up a trade like this takes years and years of experience. And hopefully I can continue to get more of those. It sounds like a very weird statement to make, but yeah, I mean, as long as I don't want to get, that was like going to get like super dark, but I'm going to keep trying my best. Okay. Let's not get really dark on the stream right now for no reason. Now let's move on to small caps. The Russell 2000 closed slightly above the 200-day moving average. Another name, another index, another ETF that is very close to also testing a long-term breakout. This is the story across the board, but we are not past the finish line yet. All right, CPI is like that big obstacle. Just like imagine like you're doing like a, I don't know, 400-yard dash or whatever, and like you're sprinting, and then right in front of the finish line there's like a huge just like cliff or something. You have to like jump to the other side to get to the finish line. That's kind of what we're seeing across the board. It's like we're so close distance wise, but there's this big obstacle in between all of us traders, investors, and the finish line. And the last like 4 or 5 times we had that same obstacle, the market was not able to overcome it. So now hopefully it's able to. It's a new year. We got some new earnings coming soon on a lot of these stocks for the last quarter of last year. Maybe for once CPI gives us a good reaction. It's happened before, it could happen again. We will see. And then finally the ARK ETF. Very, very big test as well for another name. Again, it's all lined up at the same time. Every single one of these charts are all testing breakouts. We have CPI tomorrow. It's like kind of this huge 24 to 48 hour period for the market. Really, the close of this week is going to be so important. But yeah, the ARK ETF has been in this falling wedge since the beginning of August, and a lot of names since then. Let's look at FSR. Topped out over here September, hasn't been able to get back up. Let's look at a name like CLOV. Since the ARK was at that top of the wedge in August, CLOV has lost 76% of its value. Since the ARK was at the top of its wedge, CLOV lost 3/4 of its value after already losing a lot more than that over the past 2 years, okay? And now, these types of names potentially can see more upside compared to the upside they've already seen in the last week if you can actually confirm this breakout of this wedge and reclaim this support zone. It's very possible, but again, big obstacle in front of us before it's confirmed. And then finally the VIX, still kind of hanging on to the demand line of this bearish pennant. It still could break to the upside. You get a bad reaction to CPI, all of these different breakout tests fail at the same time. This move is still possible. That's why we can't get too excited yet. That move is still possible. The likelihood of it is maybe 40%, 45%, but it's still, there's a almost half, it's like almost a coin flips chance. But you do have the hidden bearish divergence. You do have the market showing some bullish variables on technicals. We'll have to see. We need more confirmation. All right, but that's my thoughts on the market currently going into CPI tomorrow. Moving on to the swings. There are 6 of them outside of premium right now, a lot more in premium. But I alerted X yesterday, that's up about 1%. It's still just kind of testing this little resistance zone around 27. Hopefully it can clear that and just get out of here again. If it can hold above this, there's really no historical resistance up until at least like almost $30 around the first target. Meta had a flat day today. Nothing to really update here. I am a little bit concerned about some potential classic bearish divergence in the RSI almost being overbought. But you're not too far away from the target. You can still have those bearish variables and go a little bit higher at least. It's only 3% high. That's like 1 or 2 good days. So it's still possible for that target to hit before those bearish variables play out. FSR, huge day today. And I want to spend a little bit of time on this one. Up 7% today. We're going to go back to last Thursday night stream. We were down over here. I was saying, we've got this massive wedge. You've got this higher low after bottoming 3 times around 650-ish. This is like everything coming together. And even before the CPI, boom, you got the move. Even I think last night on stream, we were like right over here and I was saying FSR is not only broken out, but it also back tested the breakout. And then today, boom, huge 7% day. It makes my life very easy when normal charts, this is a normal chart, can actually play out. But during the bear market, we would get things like this. You would pretty much get this move, you get this move, and you do this. So when you actually don't have wedges doing that, it can make trading a lot easier. Can you believe it? So it feels like I should be like so happy that this move happened, but like this is a move that should happen on the wedge breakout. I don't know. But holding above 8 would be amazing. All right, you can see that flipped into resistance in December, not once, but twice. It used to be support. Like $8 used to be what 650 is now, right? It was up over here. And now that base is down at 650. So it's very important for us to break above that base and see some continuation. Again, we'll have to see what happens with the overall market too, but nonetheless, a very good start. There is over a 30% short interest on FSR according to FinViz right now. if some shorts start to cover as well, and I'm sure a level that a lot of shorts are watching right now is $8. They're maybe still hanging on to it. They're like, all right, we're not really past $8 yet. But if you really start getting some steam above 8, you know, just like how a lot of people going long on Fisker might have stop losses over here, a lot of people going short on Fisker anywhere in this region might have stop losses over here. So think about that. Like, you know, if we were to break down from this level, a lot of long stops would trigger and you could see more price action to the downside. However, vice versa, if we break above this level, a lot of shorts might cover, and in turn, not only will shorts covering bring up the price, but also people buying that breakout could bring up the price even more. And that's why I love being a reversal trader, because you can be in down over here, and then by the time that shorts are covering and other traders are piling in on the breakout, you could already be taking profits and selling to them. Now, I'm hoping that Fisker does a lot more than just that and it keeps going. But I'm saying, like, look at the first target of the swing. It's only a 965, all right? It's about 20% away, and that might just be the point in which people are like, oh, Fisker broke out. Like, it might be up here and people are like, oh my gosh, Fisker broke out, it's time to go take it long to over here. You could be at least scaling out a little bit of your profits there because you were entering over here, right? That's really how a reversal trader thinks. Being one step ahead of the others. It might be a little bit harder to place yourself in that position all the time, but once you do, it just makes your life a lot easier. So, solid day today, good volume, could be better on Fisker. The Google swing is up 3%. Again, let's just look back at Amazon for a second. Look what happened, all right? Look what's happening right now in Google. You hit the pattern completion zone of this once, you hit it twice, you got 2 solid green days gapping up. What happened to Amazon? You hit the pattern completion zone once, all right? Hit it twice, got 2 solid green days gapping up. It's literally how Amazon looked like yesterday. I don't know if you're going to see this candle tomorrow. There's a lot of variables that depend on it. But it's pretty much the same exact setup that Amazon has. Harmonic at a long-term support, and you're also seeing the same candle reactions at the pattern completion zones. They both got 2 tests of the PCZs. So if it follows the same way that Amazon went, maybe it also hits target. If it doesn't, then the stop is there. Again, it's okay. It's not a big loss. And we already kind of talked about Amazon, so I'll skip over that. And then the next one, I just alerted this today, is AMD. If you watched last night's stream, I already hinted at this. But yeah, it's breaking out of this wedge it's been in since literally all-time highs in the beginning of last year. It made a higher low on the daily, got a hit in bullish, got hit in bullish divergence, and then also got a bullish pin bar candle off that second low, and it's seeing fall through after that. So yeah, 73 is a very big level. If/when it gets there, that could be an important level to keep an eye on. But if it can break above that, then the first target is pretty much lined up with these highs from the beginning of December and just under the 200-day moving average. I put the second target just kind of in between these two big levels, but it also does line up with a little bit of highs from April of 2021 and also October of 2020. And then the third target, 97.81, lines up with some resistance from January of 2021 and support from October of 2021. And then I threw the stop loss under this low from the bullish pin bar, because if that breaks, then you're set a higher low, but like this should be your definitive candle. And if it's not, then maybe it does head lower. So it could fail. Hopefully it doesn't. That's an update on some of the swings. I want to look at some other names because I can't alert everything as a swing, but I've been talking about a lot of names on the stream recently, 2 of which we talked about literally last night, had a huge day today, the first one being AMC. I drew out this harmonic for all of you live on the stream last night, okay? AMC was up 21% today. On top of that, I think even on lower time frames, maybe a couple streams back, I was talking about this consolidation down over here. It's up after hours as well, so again, like, learn your harmonics. Learn your harmonics. I have a free video in my free course. The link is in the description. I also did like a 2-hour talk on harmonics and divergence in the webinar like last weekend. If you want that recording, it is pay-per-view because the webinar was also paid. You can always DM me for that. But look at this, like, boom, right off the pattern completion zone. Like, how many examples do you need? How many examples do you need of harmonics just playing out? Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, at this point for AMC, 470, it's your critical level. You're above it for right now. If that holds, that would be great. That was resistance from like the middle and end of 2020, pretty much all of 2020 until you broke it. And what happened when you broke above 470 resistance? Over time, it went all the way up into like $70. So you can see how big of a level that is. Your MACD is also now green for the first time since the beginning of December. Really nice move. GameStop as well. I think it had a better morning, then it pulled back some. But again, it's already been bouncing off the PCZ of this bullish shark. We have some islands in between, so it's not textbook, but it's very similar psychology to classic bullish divergence on the MACD. You've also got on the RSI, and you did see some rising volume on the 7% day today for GameStop. However, AMC was able to break above its major resistance level today and close above it. GameStop actually did test 1950 and rejected it, at least for today. You could see it was a lows from like last March and May. So that is the key level. It's not too much under it, but that is the key level you want to keep an eye on as well. Lucid, another name I've been talking about on the stream. This was also on the weekend watch list for premium members. It was a really nice formation of a falling wedge breakout lined up with a longer term channel demand line. On the stream and in premium yesterday in the chat, I showed you this double bottom. Okay, look at that. I should have probably sent an update today in premium, but let me see if I could even find it. Sure I can. Here we go. Look at this. 235 yesterday. This double bottom. You were right at that blue area. Okay. Also, at the same time, I sent this Fisker 1 hour chart. We already saw what happened to Fisker. Went up to pretty much right over here. It's the type of stuff you can get in premium apart from the swings, the options, the watch list, the bullseye. I just share charts like this sometimes, like in the chat. Just like throw them out randomly. Fisker 1, boom, that played out. Lucid 1, you're seeing that here. It was right at that breakout test. And then boom, this is what happened right after. So very nice move today after that double bottom breakout for Lucid on lower time frames. And of course, the context was already set up pretty nicely as we've been talking about on the stream on the daily. At this point, it gets interesting. Like there's not much resistance until these little lows from when it was first this back at 965 around that NAV price at $10. And then after that, there's really nothing until like 13. You got a little resistance here at 1189, but you can see after stock sells off this much and it just goes straight down and you don't really have any consolidation in between, you don't have that much resistance. So there is definitely more room if we're only talking about levels. Of course, keep an eye on your oscillators and for any patterns like a bear flag that might develop. But just in terms of levels and like major levels on the daily, there's really nothing much around here. So there is more room. All right. And just an update on Coinbase. We've been keeping an eye on that. It is back testing previous all-time lows as support around 41. Broke above it yesterday, pulled back a little bit this morning, got a nice move into the close, even closed higher than yesterday's close. 41 is that key level. If it can continue to hold it, that would be very big. On lower time frames, you can see over here, there's not much until about 46 after this, from this high and these lows over here. But very strong move. Coinbase still going. See what happens. Tesla was up 4% today. Still in this little mini consolidation. If it can just clear around like 124, 125, pretty much your high of the day today, that is another chart that could be set up with some decent room up until like 154. There's not much of any levels. So you're starting to lose a little bit of volume, but that might not be too bad. You could still float higher on decreasing volume. And it might just been like the volume was really coming in over here with people buying that dip like right down here. And then you might just get some lower volume, but still more buying than selling, float you up to around like 150-ish. That is a pretty extended move. The market would probably have to align with that. But in time, again, there's just no major levels. Very similar to Lucid, like after selling off like literally straight down without basing out anywhere, you didn't really make any previous supports. So you don't really have any supports that could flip into resistances. So of course, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here with some of these charts, but if we're just looking at levels on the daily, that is kind of the truth, but it could take some time. All right, so those are some of the names on my watch list. And of course, today, CLOV 3% higher. It perfectly tapped this resistance I was talking about. It was some lows from November. That is your short-term resistance, but nonetheless, pretty solid move. You really haven't seen a move this strong since August of last year. If it can break above 121, you know, you have smaller levels. You've got like 137, you've got 155, but your next big level is 168 after that. So again, when you go straight down without a lot of consolidation, you can rip right back up to those areas until you meet resistance. So it's like 38% from that first major resistance, and then the actual like big resistance is $2 because it was a massive bottom multiple times last year, and that is about 64% away. And then if that breaks, boom, like really until that point, there's like nothing for like 200% because it was straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. So you can see like the moves are possible on some of these names, but you got to remember there's going to be pullbacks along the way. Some of these names might not make it all the way there. And of course, the market has to align with that too. But those are your next major levels on the daily. There's not a lot of support around here on the daily, so we can go down to like the 1 hour. And I would say maybe around like 110. You can see there's a little bit of support here from December 12th. It kind of used that level as like a little barcode support a day ago or 2 days ago. And then it was your low of day today. You wicked down to that level and then you saw a nice little bounce off of it. So those are your short-term levels on CLOV. All right, so those are pretty much the tickers on my watch list. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you're enjoying the earlier streams. Zeke is talking about a cup and handle on like lower time frames for Apple setting up. You see that right over here. Zeke is saying to make wedges great again. Seeing you and Inner talking in the chat a little bit. The guy's praying for Google in the queues. Hope you like that Amazon swing. I know you've been talking about Amazon for a long time. DJ Tardis says Carvana also a company in trouble, apparently also popping today, not as much as what's that? Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond up 69% of the close today and like another 20% after hours. The company said it was cutting costs. They said it plans to cut headcount as a part of drive to cut costs after the home goods retailer reported a wider fiscal Q3 loss. The company said last week it may be looking at a potential bankruptcy filing as there is substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue. And you saw a very big rally off of that, of course, today. These are some levels for Bed Bath & Beyond in the general vicinity of its current share price. Carvana, another one. And we're seeing Wadi Carvana. This is from Seeking Alpha Stock Store on Wednesday. More than just short covering, potentially. S3 Partners. For those of you who are familiar with CLOV, we know about this name very well. Told Seeking Alpha that it would likely take a much bigger rise in the share price for short sellers to close positions. Over 47% of this float is held short. So it's not too far away from that percentage. But yeah, there's some more stuff there. We are seeing Carvana short sellers give up a sliver of their 2022 mark-to-market gains and are down about $30 million in January mark-to-market losses. This includes down $43 million roughly on today's 22.2% spike. Yeah, so just some activity going on over there, but if you want levels on this one, again, there's nothing major until like $20, but again, that's like almost 4 times the stock price. So of course, you should probably keep an eye on like the shorter term levels first. So here are some of those. There you go. Clovis Frank says, is UNH breaking down from supply line? From a demand line, yes. And wow. That demand line held pretty much since 2020 until now. And for the first time, it is under it quite a bit. You did get slightly oversold though. Potential classic bullish divergence, maybe a little that cap bounce until at least retest it could happen. But yeah, it's like it just couldn't get above that 552 after 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of it really. And then you ended up also breaking under the 200-day moving average. Like you broke under it these times, but you got right back above it. This time you really have not been able to do so. Max says XRP is testing a big supply zone. I wonder if Coinbase will ever relist it. But yeah, that is true. Pretty good 7% day today, but this whole entire zone over here is pretty big supply. It's kind of like a range though, apart from like this breakout in between, but kind of like a little bit of a range it's been in. And then a gold miner, JMIA, had a good day today. Got that wedge breakout and follow through price action today, up 7%. Pretty nice. It's kind of like testing this level right now from these lows at the end of last November. I didn't really try out levels last night, so here are some levels. We've also got a gap fill here at 750-ish. Those are the greater levels on JMIA. And then ALLO. It's trying to break back above this low from last May. Those are your next levels. You've also got a gap fill somewhere around right over here. So those are levels on ALLO. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight's chart segment. Just going to give some other updates apart from the charts. Actually, first of all, Bitcoin, boom. Boom, right, we're watching it live. Look at that. I was literally just talking about this level at the start of the stream, and you were getting a quick, strong move above it. I was literally saying, first you got to test its previous support as a resistance, and then you've got to test the channel breakout. You're already pretty much testing the channel breakout. So live on stream, Bitcoin is going for it. It's up 3% right now. The daily candle closes in about 23 minutes. And yeah, this is the start. This is the start. I alerted these literally last night on stream. So a little bit of vibes in the chat for this right now. We've got some prime time action taking place. And yeah, quick move above that. Again, like short term, this is very important. But just think about how much more important long term this is. After hitting the PCZ of this bullish cipher, after breaking out of the wedge, I talked about this last night on stream, from the lows in 2017 up to the highs around 20K on that first huge famous pop Bitcoin had. We made about a 70 to 80% retrace back down. All right, then you had this huge rally in 2019. And then it had this pretty rough trend down until the COVID crash. From your lows in 2019 to your lows of the COVID crash, you came back down about 70, 80%, made a little bit of a higher low overall. Same thing has happened on the weekly, right? If we look at this in log scale right now, you can see like, if you look at it regularly, it looks like very different. It just looks like this sell-off is like way more because yes, by dollars, it is way more, going from like what, 70K down to 15K. It's a lot more than going from like 19K to 3K. But percent-wise, like if you look at log scale, it can just help you realize like how similar these moves are. It's like, this is already kind of the trend that Bitcoin's been on. Like, yes, it sounds so bad to hear, like from 70K all the way down to 15K. But if we put this chart into log scale, which I believe like kind of averages out the moves and just thinks about percentage and not dollars, look at it. It's still in an overall uptrend. It's like, yeah, we have a horrible downtrend, but perspective, like, let me just leave this for a second so you can get what I'm saying. You're doing like the same thing time and time again. And that horrible move from like 70K all the way down to over here is pretty much just like back testing your highs in between. Like if you really zoom out on the chart, go on the weekly, look at it in log scale, it just shows you that basically, as long as the same thing that happened the last two times happens again, this could be your next move. I don't know. It's only a sample size of 2, but like it is picture perfect. That's why you got to just manage your risk and see what happens, or just watch it from the sidelines. But it can't get much clearer than that on large time frames, in my opinion. Still doesn't mean it's a certainty. It's only a probability, but that's really what you're seeing right now. And that all starts again with what we're seeing literally live on the stream right now. This move right over here. So we will see even Ethereum up 4%. It is currently testing the 200-day moving average for the first time since November. Ethereum has not been above the 200-day moving average pretty much in over a year at this point, and now it's trying to break back up for the first time in a year. It's also trying to break out of this broadening wedge at the same exact time. Yeah, TJ Tarson in the chat right now is saying I'll be keeping an eye on Mara tomorrow if Bitcoin continues its run. Think about how beautiful that would be too, right? If Mara goes up tomorrow, and it's already up very nicely after hours. If Mara goes up tomorrow, like it pretty much had its breakout, right? It broke above this 530 level, which was the lows last June. It got its back test today. And then what happens if you get your go candle tomorrow because of Bitcoin like that? It's like a break, hook, and go for Mara as well. This is why I alerted those 2 swings last night on the stream. Hopefully they keep going. Again, it's just a start, but it's kind of exciting to see it happen like while I'm literally live. So we'll see. Let's see how this looks in like very low time frames. Boom. Look at that candle. In the last 10 minutes pretty much is when this happened. I don't know if there was any news. I'm not seeing anything new. But maybe it's just a lot of people were watching that level, right? That same level I brought up in the beginning of the stream, that exact low from June. You got above it, and maybe some people just bought that breakout. And now we'll see if we can get this breakout, the down sloping channel. You've got a partial decline, all right? You've got a partial decline for Bitcoin right now. Take a look at this. Within your channel, you went from your demand line to supply line, demand line, supply line, demand line. Oh, now you're just going to your supply line. You did not revisit your demand line. So you only partially declined. When you partially decline within a pattern, you have a higher probability of breaking out on your breakout test, which is pretty much happening right now. So if it does that, really the next level I have is your 200-day moving average around 19.5K. That's pretty much right above the first target of the swing. The swing is already currently up about 3% since the alert yesterday. And of course, that 19K level dates all the way back to these highs in 2017. So we're seeing it. It's like one by one, the composite operator, he threw all these charts and assets in the dumpster. And now one by one, he's just very quietly coming back into the alley, taking them out of the trash cans, displaying them again to the world. And it's almost like we've been talking about this for weeks on the stream as well. And now we're starting to see it happen. I really, 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 really hope that CPI does not ruin all of this. I'm sorry, but if CPI ruins this, like, somebody get Jerome Powell on my stream. I just want to ask him, why? Why? Why'd you keep saying transitory? Why'd you keep saying transitory in 2021? Why? Who made you do it? I just want to know. Don't let your inflation that you said was transitory mess up all these beautiful charts. Come on now. Don't do it, Jerome. And of course, I'm not just saying it's him, but just help us out a little bit, you know, like maybe be a little bit more honest next time or something. Actually, I don't know. He probably knows what he's doing a lot more than I could say, but I'm just having some fun with it. But yeah, if you didn't hit the like button already, make sure to do so. Ethereum's also moving higher right now, actually. Let's go over to like really low time frames. Go to the 15-minute chart. Boom, look at that. Strong. Look at that volume. That's your highest 15-minute volume. Wow. I mean, in a very long time. Since pretty much Christmas, this is the most 15-minute volume Ethereum has had. So, got something brewing here, at least for right now. Maybe we'll see what happens. Yeah, thank you for subscribing. We're pretty close to 4,000. Maybe we can get there in a month or two. That would be cool. So if you're not subscribed to the stream, help us get there. Let's see what's in the chat right now. Mara's up 6% after hours. Zeke says tomorrow Bulls Thanos snap pairs. That would be crazy. And then you follow that up with, this is just a joke, I don't know anything. I'm sure some bears are scared right now. They see these last few days of price action in the markets. They see Bitcoin, Ethereum, which is now, by the way, kind of like breaking out like in front of us. They see SPY getting close to testing that breakout. They see it. Just as us as both see it and are hopeful, the bears see it and they're fearful. But at the end of the day, the bears are still the favorites until we get out of here. So like, because I'm sure some of you are bears and you hear me saying all this stuff. Again, I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm just hopeful. That's really all I am. But I understand the probabilities. The bears still have the upper hand in all of these situations, because at the end of the day, until we make a higher high in the market, the trend is still there, friend. Set a lower high. So we could still break out and make another lower high. You never know. Like I mean, we could do everything at the same time. Like, we could break out, make a lower high, and then back test, and then the bulls can take control. There's just too many possibilities for either side right now, which is why, of course, we're gonna have CPI make the decision. Maybe it's nothing. Just imagine, like, we have all these charts lining up, everybody's talking about CPI, and then like it's just like a flat sideways day, and it's like nothing changed. I don't know. And apparently, this is probably the biggest news on tonight's stream. Cramer just tweeted charts saying the market can rally in a couple months. That's another variable. Again, these variables can come out of nowhere. You could have CPI, you could have GDP, and then you could have Cramer calling the market bullish. Like, anything could bring the market down. You never know. Max says that man is wilding. Dustin says, I'm going to short the SPY trend if it gets there. That's another thing about it too. Even if you have like the bullish setup going into that breakout test, the reward to risk, you are right about that. The reward to risk is still pretty decent. Like, maybe the probability is not on your side, but like really just having like a stop like that compared to the potential reward of just going down to the swing low, it's kind of the opposite of like going long over here, right? The reward to risk going long was pretty good over here, right? And it played out. But the probability, honestly, the probability is like after you broke this, you probably maybe should have went lower. You got saved, really. So yeah, the reward to risk actually is decent there because, again, you haven't broken above that supply line in a while. But, you know, it's always the combination of what's the reward to risk on a trade and what's the probability of the trade. Yeah, let me see if I can find that Jim Cramer tweet. Lots of good chart work tonight. That is surprising. What else has he been saying lately? As I said last night on Mad Money, you are not going to find any other manager revealing what we reveal, how professionals invest, than in our novel Investing Club, and I urge you to join. You know, at the end of the day, I would rather, like, let's say I was a hedge fund manager, right? Let's say I was a hedge fund manager. I would rather hire a trader who was wrong 100% of the time than hire a trader who was right 75% of the time. Think about it, right? You'd rather hire the guy who is wrong all the time than the guy who is right 75% of the time. Because all you got to do is inverse the guy who is wrong 100% of the time, and then you win all the time. So I don't know. And again, Jim Cramer, like, at a certain point, there's a little bit of exaggeration to this stuff, but it's just kind of funny. I'm sure a lot of people have made horrible calls from 2020, 2021. It was a very crazy market. What if Mehdi is secretly Jim Cramer? I don't know. Jim recently apologized for saying Meta would dump, but instead jumped 33%. Hey, who alerted Meta as a swing though? It's not hit the target yet, so I can't. You know, it's not over, but it's already nicely in profit. Dustin says Cramer is basically just on TV because he's entertaining. I think he's entertaining. And CNBC Twitter. Let's take a look. All right, I don't know if this is like the curse after everything I just talked about, but charts suggest the market could rally for the next couple months, Jim Cramer says. This came out today, about 10 minutes ago. Jim Cramer on Wednesday said the market's recent gains could become a sustained rally. The charts, as interpreted by Larry Williams, suggest that the market could have a very nice run over the next couple of months. To explain Williams' analysis, Cramer examined the daily chart of the S&P 500 from late 2021 to early 2022. These are continuous contracts. Kramer said that every major rally during the period lasted for 24 days, according to Williams. He added that this pattern continued during the second half of 2022 with 24-day rallies in July, August, and from mid-October. So he's just really using like historical trend analysis. I wouldn't even say this is much of a call, but just the fact that it's like Kramer saying the market could rally, it's like, I don't know, man. Come on. This week marked a new rally and should continue until February 3rd. Like, I don't know. I don't like when people give out like exact dates. Like people like, oh, Bitcoin's pattern is going to take it to 33K by February 2nd of next year. Like, come on now. William thinks we're in the early choppy phases of a bull market. To him, most of the bad news already got baked in last year, which sets up for a better time in 2023. I mean, I hate to say it, but like I agree with some of this. It's just a Kramer curse, you know? Like some of this analysis actually does make sense, even though it's not that much, but there's a lot of other stuff. And again, like this is, I already put this announcement in the Discord like yesterday. Like we're seeing some of the setups that could really make the market better. But I'm only looking at this as a start until you get more confirmation. But I am optimistic on this start. I mean, you can see it in how I'm talking on social media and on the streams, but you know, we've seen this a couple of times and it's not always going to work. So yeah. Even Zeke is saying, hey, I kind of agree. So does that make me the same as Kramer? I don't know. I mean, like, I wouldn't say I'm agreeing with him. Maybe just some of the analysis. Hey, a lot of what he says I agree with from time to time, but man, it's been dead wrong lately. Yeah, you know, everybody's going to have their ups and downs. Like, I'd still like love to have a conversation with him and meet him. You know, at the end of the day, like, yeah, maybe not the best calls in the last couple of years, but he does obviously have to have levels of experience to be where he is at. So you can, in my opinion, like you can, I don't like to hate on anybody, but if somebody's like in a good position in life, like there's just a certain amount of respect, you know? But we'll leave it on this from Darwin in the chat. Even a broken clock is correct twice a day. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Join the Discord, links in the description. I'm not going to lie, like I can't always say that past results are indicative of the future. But it's been pretty nice in premium lately. Little 4 streak on options currently. Again, those calls ran like almost 200% today. I saw this inverse head and shoulders on the 5-minute, 15-minute cup and handle. Alerted it, updated it. Boom, 200% towards the close. Watch list has been on fire. This is up this week. This is your new swing. Potentially. I think Airbnb is doing well as well. I haven't looked at Frog since the watch list. But yeah, you want a lot of stuff like this. Of course, I can't really show you the swings because they're still ongoing, but there's 6 swings outside of premium. There's like a lot more than that in premium. You can see right over here. Here you go. So the swing sheet's looking. So you want that stuff, first link in the description. I also just gave like a little bit of a motivational speech to some newer members, and maybe if one of you joined tonight, this applies to you. Screenshot it if you want. And yeah, we had Yayo with a really nice move on the Goose swing chart, $4,100 in profit. And Lindsey Glenn putting this message around 5 o'clock. It took a while to find my trading style, but with all the materials Champ has to offer via workshops for finding the right option trades, the importance of scaling and risk management, as well as a community eager to answer any questions about TA, it really helped me start finding my place in the market. The past 2 weeks, I've made gains between 40% to 500% on my 0-day till expiration positions. A closed position this week hit 1,700% gains, but I scaled out my last position at 500%. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm glad to be a part of this great community. It's what it's all about. Like, this is what I put in that message I sent earlier. It's like, there's traders that I've just seen come such a long way, and that could be literally anybody. It's not like a unique thing. It's not like oh, you have to have it in you. Everybody has it in them. It's just a time thing. How much time do you put in? How badly do you want it? So that's the type of stuff I try to teach, but it's not just me. There's so many other great contributors. And yeah, if you want to join, I don't like to be egotistical about stuff like this, but I continue to see all these other premiums like raising their prices. I haven't raised prices in a long time. And I want to at some point this year, but I still just like to be like, in my opinion, the most affordable option for the most amount of material. I don't think anybody else at $45 a month comes even close to the amount of stuff I'm providing here. If somebody does, let me know. I'd love to learn from them so I could put out even more. But yeah, like at the end of the day, it's only a little bit above $1 a day and you're seeing like some crazy results. But if you're not in that position right now, if you just want to soak up some knowledge on the streams, watch the course, enjoy the rest of the Discord, that is completely understandable as well. I mean, it's not for everybody. I'm just saying, if you want to take the next level, I really like put my heart and soul into this craft. This is everything to me. So I really don't do segments on the stream talking about premium this much. Of course, I shout it out like every stream, but like just want to quickly talk about it. Like, it takes effort. Like, there was also this one was pretty cool. Where was the message? Literally on Saturday night. It was 9:30 at night on Saturday. All right, the market was closed Saturday night, and this is the message I sent. I'm still thinking about comeback mode this week. It wasn't a great set of trades for options specifically last week, and I was just like, I want comeback mode. And then boom, we got that first trade. Vengeance started, whole community getting hyped up, and then today, a nice little big gain on some SPY calls potentially. But yeah, like I really try my best. I cannot promise you good results all the time. It's just not possible. But I can promise you I try my best all the time. Links in the description. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but Qmish, you have a trial membership. There is no trial. I've been debating opening a trial, and a lot of people ask me, why don't you open trial? Obviously, I can't open a monthly trial because there's a 1 month plan. But the thing with the weekly trial, and the reason why I've done it a couple of times before where I've opened up premium to the whole Discord for like a week. The thing about a weekly trial is it just doesn't give you a good representation of like what's inside a premium, because there's just maybe there's 1 week a month where the market's just slower and I can't alert as much. That was kind of like last week. And then there's other weeks where I've probably alerted like, I don't even know how many swings in like the last 2 weeks. Like, it's been crazy. So, you know, you need, in my opinion, like 2 to 3 weeks to really absorb stuff in here. 1 week is just, I feel like the people who only join for 1 week, they just want to get like hand-fed alerts. I'm not saying this is you. This is just the reason why I haven't done it overall. And I'm not here to hand-feed people alerts. That's just not the way you learn and improve. It's only a temporary solution. So that's why I haven't done it. But I'm going to consider, I just got to find the best way to do it. Again, a week is just too short. And then again, 50% off the first month. I would consider that if most people canceled after the first month. The last time I haven't checked it in some time now, but the last time I checked, like 75% of people who had like ever joined premium are still signed up. So it's like the same thing there. It's like people join and they just stay signed up. So it's like, I do look at all these numbers. I just need to find something that makes sense. But I like where your head's at. Like, of course, I want to get more people to see what it's like without having to pay for it first, which is why I try to talk about it on the stream. And of course, like at any point, if you ever have questions, I already tweeted this earlier today, you can just DM me. Like, if you want to know what any of these channels are like, you want a few screenshots from some of them just so you can see what it is, of course, just message me. And if you ever need help with anything, I know life is tough for a lot of people, just message me. I can't promise you I can always do something, but I'm always going to try my best. All right. I'm not selling you a course. I'm not selling you alerts at the end of the day. I'm just trying to help you learn more. And at the end of the day, I am kind of doing this full time. So it's like, I want to do this forever. So I have to support myself at the same time. It just is what it is. And yeah, because at this point, like even in front of trading myself, analysis is what I love to do. I love to look at charts and share my interpretations of charts. Like, I love looking at Discord, sharing in Discord, literally more than I love trading itself. That's how much I love this stuff. So that's what it means to me. I don't know if other people with premiums, it means the same thing to them. But to me, it's just like everything. And then Kumer said, okay, we'll join, but hopefully won't cancel once I joined. I hope so too. I'm going to try my best. I'll try my best. And yeah, there's other stuff in here too. I have this workshop recording. If you want to watch this, definitely watch this before you look at anything else. It's about scaling. This is only for premium members. Well, technically I just leaked it. You could type in this link if you really wanted to. And there's like a specific premium member video that's different, and then a whole entire guide over here. But yeah. And you said, I've paid membership already to a different Discord, but want to try yours before switching. Yeah, it's again, I'm not gonna ever be one to like nobody can be better than me. I'm the best ever, but I'm always gonna be one to say that I try my best personally. I'm not here to compete with anybody at the end of the day. I'm just here to provide what I can. And I'm also, again, like, at least in the stock space from Twitter, most people can attest to this. I was one of the first ones to go like premium. This is not me seeing like, oh, all these other people are doing premium, I should do it too. This was March of 2021. It's almost 2 years now. I feel like most people just started up premiums during the bear market. You can figure out why. For me, this was something, literally all this started with was more swings. There was no options, there was no watch list, there was no bullseye. Those are just added over time. I just added those over time. At first, it was literally just more swings, which there's already swings over here for all of you in the Discord. All of you. There's like 6 that are active right now. And at first, I was just like, all right, what if people want even more swings? Because there's just so many charts here and there. And I just started showing more swings here, and then I was like, okay, what about options? What about a weekly watch list? What about workshops once in a while? What if we add in a spot from Tradie Ticks? And also, I have not done a great job of it this week. I'm going to be honest. I haven't even been in spaces this week, but the last 2 weeks, if you're on Twitter, I've been in spaces like almost all day with Keanu Trades and everybody. And then I've also, if you're in premium, you know this, I've been sharing my screen a lot. Not this week, I'm sorry. But last 2 weeks, I've been sharing my screen for like hours a day. Literally, like you can see my trading view chart like for hours a day, like what I'm looking at and stuff like that. Lintic Lens says, any chance we will see Champs trades again? This is like a little thing. It was like, for anybody that doesn't know, January of 2021, about a year ago, I started a channel called Champs Trades, which was pretty much meant for like swingable options. Okay. Swingable options. And what happened was I made that channel at the exact top of the market, like literally the exact all-time high of the market. I made that channel. And of course, swinging at the top calls, you can figure out how that went. And that channel just became like cursed. It just became cursed. And then I switched back to just option ideas, and it's been a pretty good ride with those for the most part. But yeah, probably not. Just because of how that went, like I just have like PTSD from that. But I still have, and the crazy part about that is that channel was horrible. I'll just admit it, last January. But the crazy part about that is, and a lot of you have heard this on the streams, from then on, the rest of the year, I only alerted maybe 5, 6, 7 swingable options after that. Most of the options apart from that was just day trades. And those 5, 6, 7 options, I mean, you can, I don't know the right word to use. You can give like a testimony that's like, who remembers like the 3,000, 4,000% XLE puts, however much that was, like AMC, GameStop, those were like 1,000% gainers. Like, then after that, I don't know. It was just that channel was cursed. Can't do it. But yeah, that's just like a little bit of an end of stream segment. First link in the description, and I'll drop it in the chat right now. There you go. You're not promised anything except education, all right? And the amount of education you receive is based on the amount of input you put in. And I literally said this today. Spam me as much as you want in here. Ping me all day with questions, ask me for charts, ask me for help, but you gotta, like, you can absorb everything, but you also have to, it's like input, output, right? You also got to put stuff out there. And that's why I love this community, because there's so many other people doing the same thing. You can see the chat from today. You also got to say like, all right, I need help with this, because we can't always know what you need help specifically. Everybody's at a different place. So also remember to ask for help. That goes for everything in life. Lintic Glenn says, I remember that MU push. That was crazy. Never stopped. That one was insane too. I think that one personally, I got a little bit early though. I was just about to leak the mods chat on the stream. But yeah, also apart from that, Trading Addicts podcast, we are recording, I think, the next episode on Friday, and the next episode should be out on Sunday. If you didn't watch that, let's see if that's at 1,000 views yet. All right, we are 27 views away from 1,000 views. So if you haven't watched the podcast we dropped on Sunday, we'll get it to 1,000 views. That'll be cool. First podcast, 1,000 views in the first week, or the first few days, really. Love the support on that too. And yeah, thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for the support. Qmish, again, I'm sorry for mispronouncing that. And anybody else who signs up tonight, thank you for giving me a shot. And message me, DM me. Make sure it's me, those live impersonators. Message me, let me know where you're at, and I'll see if there's any things I know from my experience, just like lessons and stuff that I could share with you from my personal experience. All right, so I don't know why it's taking me so long. I feel like I just don't want to leave the stream. I just love it. But all right, bye.